Hey guys, this is the Mall Fox here, and today I'm going to show you guys what I think is the healthiest mall in Alabama, Parkway Place, which is located in Huntsville. Yeah, that's right. I think that the healthiest mall in Alabama at this point is not River Chase Galleria in Birmingham. That mall is slowly bleeding tenants. Meanwhile, Parkway Place is almost 100% occupied and full of solid tenants, with a handful of small business thrown in as well. What some may not realize is that the city of Huntsville has a really neat history when it comes to malls. Throughout the years, there have been 5 enclosed malls in the city, each with their own story. I won't go into crazy detail for each one of them, but they were the Dunnavant Mall, The Mall, Heart of Huntsville Mall, Parkway City Mall, and Madison Square Mall. If you were listening carefully, you might have noticed I didn't say Parkway Place. That's because originally there was an entirely different mall where we stand and walk through right now. And its history is as follows. According to my research, Parkway City as a mall is not the oldest mall in Huntsville. However, it started life as a strip mall back in 1957, which predates any malls in Huntsville. Once known as Parkway Shopping Center, it originally had about 25 stores with names such as G.C. Murphy, Tom McCann, and Quick Check Supermarket. In 1960, Montgomery Ward was added to the property as well. Later, the strip mall was renamed to Parkway City, and it would exist as a strip mall until a tornado damaged much of the property on April 3rd, 1974. In my research, I have now learned about the 1974 tornado outbreak, where almost 150 confirmed tornadoes wreaked havoc in 13 US states and Ontario, Canada, over the 3rd and 4th of April. The mall getting damaged was due to one of these tornadoes, and after this event, it was converted into an indoor mall, almost resembling the layout of an enclosed strip mall, except it had shallow stores constructed on the former front of the strip, making it a fully enclosed mall. The now fully enclosed mall had its opening in 1976 and was anchored by Pizitz, Montgomery Ward, and Parisian. Here's a little graphic of what the old mall used to look like. In red is the original strip mall and its anchor stores that were constructed a little bit later than the original strip mall opened, and then in blue, that's the enclosure. Now, I'm going to deviate a little bit from Parkway City Mall and talk about the other malls in the area a little bit to craft the story. Up until the 1980s, 4 of the 5 malls I mentioned in Huntsville were operating, since Dunnavant Mall was converted into office and medical use by that point. Each of the malls featured different department stores from each other, which is why I think they were able to last so long, because each of the 4 malls lasted until the 90s. The Mall, which that's what it's called, had Loveman's and JCPenney, and Heart of Huntsville had Sears. And, like I mentioned, Parkway City had Montgomery Ward, Pizitz, and Parisian, so they all had different anchors from each other. What's interesting here is that there was actually one mall that was built in the early 1980s that was meant to replace all of them, and it was known as Madison Square Mall. Madison Square Mall was Huntsville's quote super mall and featured Sears, JCPenney, Parisian, Kastner Knott, and Pizitz, which of course some of those anchors were stolen from the other older malls in the city. By the time of the late 1990s, every other mall in Huntsville was declining and later closed, except for Parkway City. Funny enough, despite being the category killer of malls, Parkway City and Madison Square existed somewhat peacefully with each other. As confusing as the mall history for Huntsville is, unfortunately it gets deeper. CBL Associates, the people who built Madison Square Mall, the super mall, and did the enclosure of Parkway City Mall back in the 1970s, had plans to build another huge mall. However, these plans were dropped, and instead they took back ownership of Parkway City Mall. The new plan was to tear down the stagnating at this point Parkway City Mall and build a new, modern center that we are seeing today in this video. Demolition of the old Parkway City Mall was occurring in stages while most of the mall was still open. The first part of the mall to go was the old Montgomery Ward building and adjacent wing in 2000. The mall's final anchors were Dillard's, Parisian, and McRae's before the whole mall was closed in April of 2001 and demolished. However, Parkway Place would not be far behind. They were actually building the new mall already as the old mall was being demolished. And while we go up this escalator, I'm going to show the current layout of the mall with another little handy graphic. Real quick, I found some old pictures of the Parkway City Mall, you know, the mall that predates this one, and I'm going to show them right now. Having its grand opening on October 16th, 2002, Parkway Place Mall featured Dillard's and Parisian as anchors, spanning 2 levels and 640,000 square feet. The mall originally featured space for almost 80 stores and included a food court featuring 8 stalls. Some tenants at opening included Williams-Sonoma, Kay Jewelers, KB Toys, Chick-fil-A, Lane Bryant, Gap, Sam Goody, and Piccadilly Cafeteria, in addition to many other chains one would expect to see at any decent and good mall. Piccadilly Cafeteria is actually an interesting mention because the original mall here was kept open as they demolished other areas, partially because people wanted to eat at this establishment. And so it makes sense that Piccadilly Cafeteria came to the new mall. This mall was a big deal, and it's stated that new businesses that had never operated in the state of Alabama opened their first chain locations in the state at this mall. I was also able to find some pictures of this mall, Parkway Place, being constructed, and I'm going to show those now. As for the rest of the history on this mall, today it operates with Dillard's and Belk since Parisian got bought by Belk in 2006. As we're seeing, today it is largely successful with great occupancy and typical chain store offerings one would expect to find in any good mall. I think I said that earlier, but of course the story is not over. This mall actually outlived the Super Mall. Madison Square Mall, the mall I mentioned from earlier that killed all the other malls in Huntsville, would not survive to the end of the 2010s. Despite being almost 1 million square feet and featuring more department store offerings and more stores than the redeveloped Parkway Place, the construction of a lifestyle center known as Bridge Street Towne Centre, not even 2 miles away, and an unfortunate reputation of crime did Madison Square in. The mall was closed in 2017, and active redevelopment is still ongoing, although the entire mall was razed a few years ago. I think it's kind of ironic that the super mall of the 1980s failed to compete with the smaller, but yes, redeveloped mall that has origins from the 1950s. It is worth mentioning that stores have come and gone from Parkway Place. Some of the nicer luxury stores have gone to the lifestyle center I mentioned. However, given the solid occupancies it has, perhaps Parkway Place is the perfect size mall to coexist with a lifestyle center somewhere else in town, while also being a solid mall for people to shop at. But that's going to conclude the history for this video, and I guess I'll just talk a little bit, about the mall in general. I do wish that they decorated a little more for Christmas here. This was filmed on a Tuesday. I was actually a little bit nervous filming this mall because I've never filmed a mall this busy before, and I don't think anyone actually gave any attention to what I was doing. But I wish they did a little more decorating for Christmas here. This is supposed to be my Christmas special, and unfortunately there's only a little bit of Christmas decorating. But otherwise, I like the nice marble or whatever is on the floor. The floor looks really nice. And this is just a nice looking mall. It's modern. But it's modern in like a nice way. Not modern as in like we're like Simon Property Group and we're going to bleach everything and make it all look white and sterile. This mall's got some nice color to it. I will go ahead and throw in there that one of the malls I talked about in this video, the mall in Huntsville, is the source of one of the most famous liminal images of all time, and I'm going to pop that up on the screen right now. I know this video is about Parkway Place, but I would do anything to get to see the mall in Huntsville. You have no idea. I am such a fan of that type of architecture, but I will never be able to. But I think this is actually the perfect time to possibly tell a little bit more about myself, because recently this channel just hit 1,000 subscribers. Kind of a little 2-for-1 deal going on. It's my Christmas special and I just hit 1,000 subscribers. Honestly, I never thought I would be a YouTuber. I've been in the dead mall space since 2022, and I've mainly been documenting malls via photography, but at the start of this year, I filmed my first video and produced my first ever video, which was the Inlet Square Mall video, and you know, I know there's definitely improvements I can make in my content, but I think I've actually come a long way since that first video, and it was only, 11 months ago. But yeah, being a YouTuber is fun. I get to create content on properties that are probably one day going to be gone. A lot of them that I've filmed will be gone, and that's cool. There's a lot of nice people in this space. A lot of people that do really good work, and it's really fun to be able to go out and explore. I've been known to do a lot of day trips like this. I went to Alabama just on a whim one day. I am from Atlanta, so I just decided one day that I was going to jettison off, and I did. Went to Alabama, went here, went to Florence Mall, went to Decatur Mall, and then went home. Oh, I saw the ruins of Southgate Mall in Muscle Shoals as well. There's nothing left of that place. But I just want to thank everyone who watches my videos. It's really surreal to think I have 1,000 people that have liked my content enough to press the subscribe button. But with that, it's going to conclude my video on the Parkway Place Mall, located in Huntsville, Alabama. If you guys are new to my channel and you liked this video and would like to see more, consider hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like on this video. Leave a comment down below if you remember any of the malls in Huntsville, Alabama. I talked about all of them a little bit. Or if you'd just like to leave me a nice comment to read. And otherwise, stay tuned for the next mall video.